Hello everyone, and welcome to a new short video series where every episode I will review and rate a random weapon from the Calamity mod. All 789 of them. This totally didn't take like 6 hours of preparation. Please subscribe, please subscribe. I put them all into a randomizer, and each day I will do a random weapon and rate it. Today's weapon is the Pwnagehammer. The Pwnagehammer is a post-mech trio upgrade of the Pwnagehammer that turns it into a melee weapon. The Pwnagehammer, well, throws hammer projectiles wherever you click. These hammers have a 20% chance to home in on enemies, and when they do, it does extra damage and summons a cool ghost hammer that also homes on the enemy. Upon first use, it seemed really decent. It can take care of swarms of enemies pretty well, even hard mode ones like possessed armor, but when I started fighting bosses with it, I was kinda disappointed. Even when fighting against Calamity, which is at the same progression level as Terraria, post-mechs, the Pwnagehammer's damage was extremely slow, even with Adrenaline and Rage mode activated. Things only got worse after the brothers spawned in. So while this weapon is decent at taking out swarms, it lacks in raw damage output. So how will I be ranking these weapons? Well, I've created a points system. The points total up to 100 points. Damage against a single target is worth 15, crowd control also 15, boss battles 20, usability according to progression is 30 points, obtainability is 5, uniqueness is 5, and special effects is 10. Special effects encapsulates things like if there's any cool thing that happens when you use the weapon, like does it inflict a damage over time debuff. The tier list is separated into a few different tiers. At the very bottom, we have Abysmal. This is if a weapon scores between 0 and 25 points. For Garbage, that is if a weapon scores between 25 and 50 points. F tier is 50 to 59, D tier is 60 to 69, C tier is 70 to 79, B tier is 80 to 89, A tier is 90 to 95, S tier is 95 to 98, and S plus tier is 98 to 100. I am kind of a harsh judger, so if a weapon gets an S+, that's how you know it's really good. Now on to how much points this thing scored. Against a single target, it was okay. Like I said earlier, it lacks raw damage output, and that's a lot of what determines how good a weapon does against a single target. I've given it 10 points in the single target category. For crowd control, it was good at handling swarmies, so 13 points. Boss battles, well, you already heard me rant about that, 7 out of 20. Usability according to progression. I think at this stage in the game, it's pretty decent. It's something you can craft right after the mechs, and with a relatively cheap crafting recipe at that. So I give it a 21 out of 30. Obtainability, 5 out of 5. It has a very cheap crafting recipe, and most of the materials you need to craft it you already have from beating the mechs in the Wall of Flesh. Uniqueness, I'd give it a 3.7 out of 5. It has a funny bong sound effect, so that's where most of these points come from. I think the Spectral Hammer is cool, it's just hindered by the fact that it only spawns in 20% of the time. Special effects, 4 out of 10. The only special thing that really comes out of the Pwnagehammer is the Spectral Hammer. And once again, it has a low spawn rate when using the weapon, which already has a slow use time. The Pwnagehammer has scored 63.7 out of 100 points, putting it at a low D tier. So yeah, that is the Pwnagehammer. Would I recommend this weapon? Maybe, but there are definitely better weapons out there at this stage of the game. Thanks for watching!